So when a Kendrick Lamar track comes on, it just,
Yeah.
it hits you differently, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like layered, really complex.
And it sticks with you, long after it's over.
Right.
He's not just, making music. He's sparking conversations, digging into some really profound stuff with his lyrics.
He really is.
So what is it? What elevates Kendrick Lamar beyond, the typical rap stratosphere? Let's maybe dig into that.
Well, I think his story is it's just completely intertwined with where he comes from.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, born June 17th, 1987 in Compton, California.
Compton, yeah.
And that city, as you know, it has this powerful duality, right? A
Yeah.
history steeped in, the harsh realities of gang violence, but also this incredible legacy of hip-hop legends.
Right, like Dre, Eazy-E.
Exactly. And fun fact, apparently he was named after Eddie Kendricks of the Temptations.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, maybe a little signpost pointing towards his future in music.
That's interesting. So Compton clearly wasn't just a backdrop for him.
No, not at all. It was the crucible, really. That's what forged his narrative.
You mean the stories he absorbed growing up?
Yeah, exactly. The constant push and pull of survival, the shadows of violence, but also, the incredible resilience he must have witnessed. That's the bedrock. It feels like the foundation for everything he's created.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating to trace his artistic journey.
It really is.
He started out as K-Dot,
Right.
gained some recognition with mixtapes.
Yeah, a string of them. But then he transitioned, started using his given name, Kendrick Lamar.
And that felt like a real shift.
It totally signaled a deepening, I think. His lyrical focus changed.
How so?
His work became more introspective, more pointed in its social commentary.
Okay.
And that's when, the broader audience really started to tune in, realizing they were hearing something unique, a truly unique voice.
And that unique voice, it really broke through with Section .80 back in 2011. That was an independent album, but it felt like a real declaration, didn't it?
It really did.
So rich with political insight and just this raw, unfiltered emotional honesty.
Yeah, Section 80 definitely laid the groundwork, showcased his lyrical skill, his ambition with themes.
But then came the major label debut.
Right, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City in 2012. That cemented his arrival.
Absolutely. And what's so striking about that album is how it functions as this cohesive narrative.
It's almost like a film.
Exactly. It puts you right in the middle of his teenage years in Compton.
Yeah, you're navigating the gang violence, the intense peer pressure.
And his search for meaning, for a way out.
Right. It wasn't just, a collection of good tracks. It was a whole journey.
And the critical acclaim, the Grammy nods, it just underscored its impact.
No doubt. It was huge.
And musically, his palette is just so much broader than typical hip-hop,
Oh, definitely. You hear these really strong veins of jazz, funk, soul running all through his music.
Yeah, and he's incredible at shifting his delivery, his vocal tone, the rhythms he uses, sometimes even within a single verse.
It keeps you on your toes.
It really does.
And it's not just about the beats, is it? It's how he uses those sounds to, amplify the story he's telling.
That's a great point.
And that's the crucial thing, I think. At his core, he's a master storyteller.
Right. It's not just rhyming.
No, the rhymes aren't just clever wordplay, though they are clever. They're like brushstrokes in a much bigger picture.
And when you look at the recurring themes in his work, they carry such weight.
Absolutely.
Things like the complexities of race and identity in America.
Yeah.
The stark realities of poverty and violence. His exploration of mental health, spirituality.
It was so courageous.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that constant, very human struggle with survivor's guilt and deep self-examination.
Yeah, those are the fundamental threads, aren't they? They weave through his entire discography.
Creating this body of work that's both consistent in its concerns, but also constantly evolving in how it looks at them.
Exactly. Consider To Pimp a Butterfly in 2015. If you connect that to the lineage of powerful, socially conscious music, people compared it to Marvin Gaye's What's Going On.
Wow, that's high praise.
And it's telling, right? It's an album just saturated with political urgency, deeply informed by jazz, directly confronting systemic racism, the burdens of fame, the quest for Black empowerment. What's fascinating is how he used it as a platform,
Yeah.
for dialogue, for reflection on these massive issues.
Then you get Damn 10th in 2017.
Yeah.
Which felt like a deliberate shift in some ways. More personal, maybe, more overtly aggressive at points.
I agree with that. Intense.
And of course, that album won him the Pulitzer Prize for music.
Which was just groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking.
First time a non-classical, non-jazz artist received that honor.
Right. That just underscored the profound artistic merit, the cultural significance of his work.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, the Pulitzer in music usually goes to classical or jazz composers.
Exactly. So for hip-hop to be acknowledged like that, historic. Truly historic.
Shattered boundaries, didn't it?
It absolutely did. It validated hip-hop as a serious, impactful art form on a whole new level.
And then Mr. Mowell and the Big Steppers in 2022, another bold evolution.
Mm-hmm. What's particularly revealing about that project, I think, is the sheer vulnerability he displays.
Right.
He delves into his experiences with therapy, the impact of generational trauma.
Fatherhood, too.
Yeah, the complexities of fatherhood, his ongoing journey of personal growth. It presented a much more exposed, more introspective side of him.
It really cemented this idea that he's operating on a different plane.
Definitely.
He's not just releasing music. He's actively contributing to this much broader cultural conversation.
You see the evidence everywhere.
Yeah, like his lyrics being dissected in university courses, quoted in serious political debates.
Right.
His performances on these massive global stages, the Super Bowl halftime show, the Grammys.
Exactly. He really transcends the conventional role of just a music artist.
And you think about his influence as, like, a fashion icon.
Yeah, that too. And his philanthropy, which is often pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm. And maybe most significantly, how he's seen as this figure of authenticity.
In a genre that often gets scrutinized for, materialism.
Right. That feels important. And in today's musical landscape where trends can just explode and then vanish almost overnight.
Yeah, it's so fast.
His work feels like it has real staying power.
I agree. His albums aren't just fleeting collections of singles.
No, they feel like these intricately layered, deeply symbolic bodies of work, almost like timeless literature you can keep returning to.
Mm-hmm. And keep uncovering new layers of meaning.
Yeah.
That's such a crucial observation. His music isn't disposable. He actively challenges his listeners.
He really does.
He compels you to think critically, to reflect on your own experiences, your position in society.
And to grapple with these incredibly complex, often uncomfortable societal issues.
Exactly.
So ultimately, it seems like many people view Kendrick Lamar as this vital truth teller for our time, using his extraordinary command of rhythm and rhyme, not just to entertain, but to really hold a mirror up to the society he came from.
Which raises a really important question, I think, for you listening.
Okay.
Considering Kendrick Lamar's unique ability, this power to weave these incredibly intricate narratives and address deeply personal yet universally resonant societal issues, what responsibility do you believe artists actually have?
Responsibility in what sense?
In reflecting or maybe even actively shaping the culture they come from. It's something to think about.
It definitely is. Well, that has been a truly deep dive into the multifaceted world of Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, there's so much there. We encourage you to continue exploring his rich and complex body of work and maybe revisit some of the many layers we've unpacked today.
Definitely worth doing until our next exploration.